So here we have a 274 Massey, great tractor, very straightforward, mechanical, but it's stuck in, this gear's stuck in forward, which sucks because I gotta get it off the trailer. I could drive it on, can't drive it off. So one of these is stuck. What happens is the shifter rails, if you shift it too quick, you can take the little shifter out of the rail, and then you can't get it back in again. So we're just gonna pull this cover off outside here actually really quick. Just wipe that clean. Look, it's nice and wet, so it cleans off really easy. And then put the rail back on and then drop the shifter cover back on again. That needs a clutch because of the loader tractor. So, yeah, here we go. All right, now watch me shakingly take out all these bolts with one hand. Oh no, wait, that's just stupid. Okay, see what happened there? See that shifter rail, how it's not lined up? Yeah, you'll never get that back in again. So, I just slide that over. Let me just take that. Okay, both of them. See that? It was very hard to do. So, let's put a bar in there. Slide that over a little bit. Oh, don't lose these springs. These springs are kind of special. One of these, it's really hard to do with one hand. But anyway, you get the point. Line these up, put the shifters back in the middle of it. Bob's your uncle. Done. Here we go. So that's the way it's supposed to look. I had the tractor still tied to it, so there's tension on it. If you're on a hill or it's rolling, then it's not going to want to go. It's going to be binding, but that's what you want it to look like. Hey, look, Tuesday's coming to me now. Nice. All right, here we go. Look at that. Look at that. I'm guessing that's reverse. Yay! I'm guessing that's high. Nope, that's reverse. Huh. That one? I want to go slow. Slow, slow, slow. No, 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 no. Okay, fast. Okay. Whatever. See? It's wet, so you don't want the thing to like slide off. So then once you're that far, just keep her going. Don't hit my box. Don't hit the box. Ah! Close the drawer. Ah, look at that. There we go. Here we have a 274 Massey tractor. Beautiful tractor. I'd buy these in a heartbeat. They were built from 82 to 87, I believe. And I grew up with these tractors. I used to play with these little models when I was 4 or 5, and now I get to play with the real ones. I grew up learning on these tractors at the apprenticeship that I took, and now they're still around because these are fantastic tractors. 3.9 liter Perkins engine, easily rebuildable with a sleeved engine, nice little CAV rotary pump, very basic, straightforward, simple wiring, no computers. And the only really downside is the shifters being between your legs. About 50 horsepower, but I would rebuild these in a heartbeat and just drive them forever. This already being 34, 35 years old. The 100 series, we used to lift the steering and everything off and split the tractor here. This one needs a clutch as well, but this one we're gonna split right down the middle here and straight down. Yeah, pretty straightforward. We're gonna take the front drive shaft off and start undoing some fuel lines and hydraulic lines, and then we'll show you how to roll it apart. We're gonna jack up the front and roll the back backwards. And as of any tractor that you split, first thing you do is stick some blocks underneath the pivot on the front. So as soon as you roll the tractor away, it doesn't flop over. So here we go. There's no doubt that this clutch needs to be done because half the clutch is on the starter. When you're ready to split, you should see a crack here. Make sure it's nice and even, top to bottom. If it's tighter at the top or on the bottom, then the shafts will bind on each other and make it harder to roll apart. Chock your front tires. I took the starter off, but I didn't have to. I forgot that this is a bolt that goes all the way through with just a nut on the end because this bolt butts up against the starter. I got the hoses, I left the wiring, unplugged the alternator, the speedo, the fuel shut off, and then the fuel throttle, and the oil pump on the other side has to be disconnected. I'll show you guys that. So the oil pump, you can disconnect the drain and the pressure if you want, but I generally just try to keep the hydraulic systems closed. 4 little bolts, and the pump just comes with it, and then it'll slide out of the way to clear the bell housing. So the exhaust, this must be a regular splitter. I don't know why, but it's already got a nice little coupler to split that, and I think that's it. So start rolling it apart. Here we go. So this is the PTO clutch, and you can see I got lots left on the PTO clutch, so we're not going to replace that one. The PTO clutch is actually closest to the flywheel, and then your drive gear, your drive clutch is actually this 14 spline right here. This probably doesn't get worn because the PTO is on all the time. If you're never using it and it doesn't slip, then it should be good forever. But to take the drive clutch out, you got to take the pressure plate apart. We don't really have to, but I kind of want to see and make sure that that clutch is actually worn. I don't think there's anything left on it actually. So I'm gonna put it in the press here, just push down on it, and then take these little bolts out. Make sure that your cylinder's at the end so you have enough to take the spring tension off. Once the pressure's off, you can pull the PTO pressure plate, spring, and now you can loosen those bolts and take that off. You can see the wear mark there. The pressure plate's worn quite a bit actually, more than the disc itself is. There's a little bit of rivet left, or a little bit of lining left. Probably could have got one more adjustment out of it, but it came in. It's here now anyway in the shop. The tractor rarely leaves the farm. So with the other issues that we had with the tractor and a full service, now's the time to do it. So that way it doesn't leave him hanging when he's loading manure for a customer. Yeah, so here we go. Okay, a couple things you want to make sure of before you roll it back together again, and that's your pilot bearing. You got to make sure that that fits on your input shaft, because if it's too small, it's a frustrating hour and a half wondering why you can't get that last ½ inch to roll together. And then second of all, whether it's an expensive bearing or a cheap bearing, I find that they just don't come with enough grease in there. So case in point, this is the release bearing. Look at that. I can't even focus. I can't even see any grease in there. Terrible. Basically, the bearings last the same as long as there's grease in it, but I find that you can put a lot more grease in there than what's in there. A little bit around the outside there. But what you want to do is take your dentist pick that you got from your hygienist for free because you were really nice and you asked for it, and then just pull that little rubber out, pack this full of grease, and then just squeeze this rubber back on again, and then put that side facing in towards the flywheel. It just makes the bearing last that much longer. Any bearing that I ever use and try to put together, I pull that rubber out and pack more grease in there. Just a very cheap way to avoid problems later on. So here we go. That clutch is back together. Just got to make sure that these fingers are all the same, and those adjustments are made at the back here. Just take a micrometer, or sorry, vernier caliper or something, and just make sure that everything's the same. Make sure that your discs are lined up nicely with your pilot, otherwise it's a frustrating hour and a half. And if it rolls together too quick, then you forgot something's wrong. So here we go. Oops, sorry. Takes about 20-25 minutes to roll it together, and the camera just shuts off after 15, but look, it's together. I thought I lost a little spring in there. I'm searching around with a magnet, and the customer just happened to just stop by and say that he rebuilt the shifters because they were sloppy, and he lost the spring, which is why it went into gear on its own. And it will do that because the detent, when the little ball sits in that little groove here, keeps the rail from moving. So that is it's not really a flaw, but these boots, you have to make sure that they don't crack, because otherwise the the water gets in there and then sits at the bottom, and water doesn't lubricate very well. The biggest problem we have with the winters is the water freezes and then it takes out pumps and stuff like that. So make sure those shifter boots stay pliable and no cracks, and yeah, put her back together. Here we go. So another complaint was lack of power, and this is the bottom of the air filter here. Let me just see if I can pop that out with one hand there. This is not what you want your oil bath. Come on out, come out. It's not what you want the bottom of your oil bath to look like. Yeah, she'd be choking out a little bit. So that needs to be cleaned. Good air filter system, actually. The air just goes through, swirls around, hits the oil, and then all the dust gets stuck in the oil, and then the rest gets clean air get put up back into the engine. They work just as well as a regular cartridge filter, but problem is you can only sell this thing once because all you have to do is clean it. So everybody went to paper filters because you can sell a lot more. So we'll clean that out, and hopefully it won't choke out so much when you're trying to rev it up. Here we go. Just blow it out, wash it out, clean it out, do whatever you gotta do. Clean up the bottom and fill it back up to the oil level. Mark, drop that back in again. Good as new. And cheap too, other than my $800 an hour shop rate. Here we go. Let me just see how much dirt is inside this air intake filter here. Not bad. I think the engine got most of it. I better replace that pipe. After all that, I just kind of cleaned up some of the farmer wiring there. He uses this on his straw chopper, and I don't know if he wants a new barn from insurance or what, but anyway, we cleaned that up for him. Got hazards now, turn signals, and we've got big, shiny, bright lights. Very nice. Here we go. I think that's it. Put the shield back on and bring her home. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you love the channel, consider picking up a tape boss to make those projects go faster so you got more time to watch YouTube. And remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich.